Good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, April 25th. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. Perhaps the most remarkable part about today's weather map is that the Storm Prediction Center has not put any part of this country in a severe weather risk in regards to thunderstorms for today. That's the first time for a while that risk redevelops for tomorrow and beyond. I have no idea why there's no severe weather risk in effect today, especially considering that there's a strong cold front moving through the country, and it's going to be affecting the Appalachians, an area that, although it's not the plains, but one would think that there should be at least a slight risk for severe weather. The only severe weather, or the only severe risk, is the high fire hazards, which are in effect for the northern Texas. It's really the southern high plains. The high plains is an area of higher elevation within the plains that receives the most topsy-turvy weather in this country. Amarillo, Texas is an example of that. Total weather whiplash day after day during certain parts of the year. Spearfish, North Dakota received a foot of snow over this past weekend. We had other areas that got even more than a foot. In fact, some places received up to 20 inches of snow. That was on top of an ice storm that developed freezing rain. Forecasters for the Washington, D.C. area have been dealt a complicated deck of cards for today, similar to what the Baltimorean meteorologists had to go through yesterday, trying to figure out where the sea breeze will be, the exact area in comparison with the real warm air, temperatures mid and upper 80s. I would imagine there are places that went into at least the low 90s yesterday on the southeast. Virginia, for example, I would imagine there was a place, but I don't have high confidence in that because there is more humidity there. So the variability in temperature is less than what we saw in Nebraska this past weekend, where temperatures hit 97 degrees in North Platte, Nebraska on Friday, as dew points dropped to 31 degrees. The consensus is that cooler air will be in Baltimore and the Washington, D.C. area for today. And then that cold front moves through. Temperatures become cooler tomorrow. The real cold comes in Tuesday night. Temperatures remain cold for Wednesday night as well. Freeze warnings are in effect for the Chicago area this morning. Freeze warnings may go back into effect tonight for a part of the Midwest. Last week, the National Weather Service in Chicago pointed out that there is even a chance for snow a little bit beyond the 7-day forecast cycle, because it's not in the forecast. But if you look on the windy.com European computer model, you will see an area of precipitation that develops in southern Minnesota and then pushes into northern Illinois. A small area of precipitation, and it does show that there could be at least some snowflakes mixed in. Again, this is not in the forecast. There's not enough confidence in this happening for it to be in the forecast. There's a weaker low pressure system which does not pop up on the map for Thursday night, says the National Weather Service. But the main storm system comes in this weekend when North Dakota gets hit once again. Sometimes you can notice that there's 6 to 7 day forecast cycles. There's a cycle where the same thing keeps happening approximately the same day each week. So if you get a storm system one week on a Sunday, you'll get it again next week on a Sunday. This time of the year, when temperatures are getting warmer pretty rapidly, the chances of seeing another blizzard drop drastically, but nonetheless, precipitation will likely change over to snow once again for North Dakota, although I don't really know if there's going to be any accumulation at all. The precipitation might just fall down as a mixture of rain and snow. Colder air will be filtering into the Chicago area. One of the most remarkable things that took place yesterday was in Des Moines, Iowa, where for the very first time, they had a beautiful day despite the fact that they were within an air mass behind a cold front. The unexpected sunshine over in central Iowa due to them being in a dry slot, I believe it was unexpected. The areas which were under sunshine, temperatures rose significantly, at least into the mid and upper 60s, maybe warmer than that, despite the fact they were in the cold air behind a cold front. Chicago has had this already for the third time, I believe, and temperatures were warm and beautiful even after the front went through. But today, temperatures will be getting cooler as that colder air filters. The real cold comes in on Wednesday, When winds turn off the lake, those temperatures remain in the 30s the entire day. There's a slight chance again for precipitation late Wednesday night in the Chicago area, but there's not a high enough chance for it to be mentioned in any forecast. Dew points remain in the 60s. The reason for that is because the ocean water temperatures are in the mid and upper 70s. Dew points tend to be about 10 degrees lower than whatever the ocean water temperatures are. As of this morning, I was not able to find any part of the world where ocean water temperatures were 90 degrees or higher, although I'm pretty sure it exists, but barely. This means it's going to be very hard to find any area where dew points are 80 degrees or higher unless we're dealing with a situation like the Midwest Corn Belt somewhere in the world. There's plenty of places which have water temperatures in the mid-80s. India probably has the warmest water temperatures in the mid and upper 80s. Some areas even 88 degrees. So you have winds blowing off that water could produce a dew point of 78 degrees. If there's an air mass over an agricultural area that is also over that water, that's where you have the best chance of seeing dew points above 80 degrees. Northeast, big cities, New York City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, remains under the influence of the Atlantic Ocean sea breeze. Thank you for listening. I wish everyone a great day.